For those of you guys that have been wondering what's been going on with the C-10 and this cab corner repair, this is the video for you. So let's check out what we've done so far. In the last video where we left off, this piece was out. It wasn't welded in. It was kind of clamped in place, but now it's completely welded in. There's a couple spots I still have to kind of go back into. Not a big deal. I treated the backside of this. All of this got painted with epoxy. Yes, there's some amazing runs here and there. It is what it is. It's primer, it's sandable, not a big deal. So this panel fit actually really well. I had to do some things here, you know, because this wasn't really true on the replacement panel, but I'm pretty happy with it. I ended up putting a relief cut here, but it fits pretty good. I cannot complain. And it's actually the right length as far as this, and it actually has the drainage hole there, which this panel does not, and I'm gonna have to weld that back in. So with that panel being done, the next step is to address this B-pillar and this cab corner. Okay, so let's start with the B-pillar. This $14 piece turned out to be an extreme nightmare for this all to fit right. First thing I had to do, I mean, this fits really good. It's got a nice straight edge to it. But as far as this piece goes, I ended up having to fabricate this piece from scratch because this is what originally was in there. That's definitely off right there. This piece wasn't long enough. And just the shape of it, what it was originally, and what it's supposed to be. Now, if you look on the other side, oh yeah, don't mind my template there. That's what I use to copy it. But you can tell what it's supposed to look like. So I replicated this on the other side. Second of all, this whole area was a complete disaster. If you can tell, I cut that piece up because if this fit, this didn't fit and vice versa. I end up having to shorten this, and then I end up doing some cutting on the panel that's on the other side of this. So yeah, you pay for a $14 panel, you think it's all gonna be peaches and cream, and you end up spending half the time refabricating the panel just to make it work. I wish there was another option. Well, let me tell you something, guys. There actually is. So, I want to say about a year ago, they started making these high-quality reproduction panels through a couple different companies. Now, they're all stamped in Taiwan. We'll get into that later in another video. So there's basically two companies. There's TriPlus and Key Parts, and I think there's maybe one or two more, but those are the main two that supply a lot of these places like LMC Truck, Goodmark, AMD, all those places. Check out this panel. This is true to what it should be. All these contours are correct. I mean, it even has the spot for the rocker panel to go into. Like, those panels don't, I didn't even think about that. You see this? That's the piece I had to recreate on that panel. Yeah, and look at this. It's $14. It's the same price as the TriPlus panel. So, there's gonna be a video that I'm gonna put out basically comparing Key Parts and TriPlus, because I actually have a TriPlus fender and I have a Key Parts fender, and this is actually a Key Parts door. And the reason I went with it, because it's just way more true to what the castings were originally from the factory. So we'll get into that in a different video. That's going to be a whole set of videos that I'm going to do, so hopefully you guys, you know, will enjoy those. But yeah, let's get back to this cab corner, because I got some questions for you guys. Oh yeah, and by the way, if you guys want to follow along with this build, make sure you like and subscribe. Tell your friends. Tell your grandma. I'll send her a sticker. It's not a big deal. Oh, this good old cab corner. So it's fitting good for the most part. But here's my biggest issue. Yeah, don't mind those runs. This is the biggest issue I got. So this is supposed to be straight. Once you start getting down there, you see that gap? This is something I've been fighting with for a while, just because this reproduction panel isn't really the best stamping. But what I'm thinking is somewhere through here, I'm going to have to cut this and maybe add some metal so I can bump this out a little bit. Now, I really don't see any other option to get this straight. So if you have a better idea, if you've done this before, please drop me a comment. Let me know what you did to kind of fix this thing, because this is, I shouldn't be dealing with something like this. But I mean, realistically, you know, I had to deal with this. I had to deal with all this. I mean, it's just part of the game, you know. So if you guys have any tips or clues for me, I would definitely greatly appreciate it. Now, as far as these doors go, you know, why did I decide to get new doors? Honestly, I really don't have the time to work on this truck. As you can see, I mean, this has taken me forever to do. If I have to replace the door skin, then on my panel, there's rust up here. Then this thing is butchered, so I end up welding a new piece here. I mean, we're talking, and then sandblasting the inside and epoxy priming everything. I mean, we're talking at least a couple months, because honestly, I don't have much time to work on this thing. At this point, the door is done. Sometimes you just got to weigh out your options. You know, if you have more time, then fix the panels. If you have less time, buy new panels, because it always comes down to that balance of time and money. Either you have the time and no money, or you have the money and no time. So I'm working right now. I'm working 6 days a week. This is the logical decision here. You know, I have new fenders already. I have a new core support. All I need is a new hood, and the front end of this thing is done, besides what I'm doing on the cab corner. Okay, you got me. Obviously, I still have to fix this whole area. If I decide to fix everything and patch the fenders and sandblast the hood, I mean, we're gonna drag this out for so much longer. Last thing about the door, and the reason I went with key parts. Next time you're at a swap meet and they have doors, take a look to see if this is there. Because on the TriPlus panel, that actually doesn't exist. And if you look on your original doors, that's there. I know it's such a small little detail, but this goes a long way, because it's not just this, it's a lot of things. And once I drop the video of TriPlus versus key parts, honestly, with the fenders, I don't know which one's better, because there's so many differences between the two. Like, one has straighter lines, one is more correct as far as the pinch welds go. Like, on one of the fenders, when you put the grill on it, it's going to fit perfectly. On the other one, you're going to have to do some adjustments and probably some cutting to make it fit. It's pretty wild. I do actually have a brand new inner cowl that I already got, so I'm just going to weld that piece in, but there's still a lot of metalwork that needs to be done here. Now, I did invest in a couple tools. I decided just to kind of goof around last night, and I ended up making this. As you can tell, that's part of that piece. Now, I achieved this by buying 2 tools. Finally, Busted Classic Garage has a metal brake. On top of that, a shrinker and stretcher. So once at least the cab corner's done, I'm going to start kind of messing around with this area. I got some really good ideas from, I believe, C-10 Fabricators. It's a Facebook group, really cool guys on there. So, yeah, I'm going to tackle all that. There's the new core support, so that's all new. Now, just to show you why I went with a new core support. Okay, remember that? And here's the original. Yeah, that whole thing is non-existent. And then eventually, I have to mess around with that and that. Also, if you want to support Busted Classic Garage and you want to get some of these rad C-10 stickers, DM me on Instagram. I got all my tools ready. Everything's laid out. It's just a matter of time finding the time to actually work on this truck again. The next handful of videos is going to be C-10 related, and I got a couple road trips after that. But if you haven't seen this repair up to this point and you want to get caught up, make sure you watch this video to get caught up on what we've done so far. All right, I'll see you guys on the next one.